هشت سال یکی صبح عصر هر روزه بیاد جمعه نداشته باشه شنبه نداشته باشه این بوده نیستشیم چی میخوام من از اون چی میخوام جز آخرت دیگه چی دیگه نمیخوام.
This melody has been heard for hundreds of years. It's played from here, looking down on the second biggest shrine on the planet. It's calling on people to come to pray. More than 27 million people travel here every year. It's run by the most powerful non-government organization in Iran. There are thousands of servants here. They volunteer to provide calm and comfort to the pilgrims. They are doctors, scientists, lawyers, and ministers who come to support the pilgrims on their journey to the heart of the shrine.
When I go there, I prefer to prepare this situation for all of them, serve them.
Each servant has their own description of the Imam and his principles.
امامان مظهر اخلاق خدا هستند. اینا مطهرن. اینا مصدقن. اینا هم تصدیق شده هستند و هم تصدیق کننده هستند.
And they all talk about their contribution to the shrine with utmost pride.
ما که خودم هیچیه این مشهدی ها همه ایرانی ها نه که مسلمان نشه نه همه باید قدر بدنن کمچک آقای داره.
This is the story of how the 8th Shia Imam turned the small city of Nuran into one of the most important religious places on earth. This is the story of Imam Reza and his kingdom. In 633 AD, one of the greatest civilizations on earth, the Persian Empire, witnessed the rise and spread of Islam in the region. Within a short span of time, Islam expanded to the four corners of the planet. The key to its success was the capture of Persia. The Islamic conquest of Persia led to the end of the Sassanid Empire and the eventual decline of the Zoroastrian religion. However, the achievements of the previous Persian civilizations were not lost but were to a great extent embraced by the new Islamic State.
Iran and Islam owe one another a debt of gratitude. In other words, Islam has had a critical role in constructing Iranian civilization. And on the other hand, Iranian scientists have played an important role in developing Islamic teachings.
حقیقتش را بگویم به دفعات به فکر کشتن او افتادم.
Although the combination of Islamic values and Persian wealth and culture resulted in the Islamic Golden Age, unprecedented wealth and power as well as Shia-Sunni disagreements divided the descendants of Prophet Muhammad and the ruling parties. The way forward for the greedy heads of states was to discredit the top religious figures. They knew if this family was around, their popularity would thwart their evil plans.
Ma'mun
definitely thought of Imam Reza as his sworn enemy. On the other hand, Imam Reza thought of Ma'mun as a ruthless caliph who had illegally assumed the caliphate, which was the right of Banu Hashim and the Prophet's successors, whom we call Imams. However, Ma'mun, as a cunning Abbasid caliph, tried to adopt a policy different from his ancestors. It must be noted that he did not so of his own accord. In fact, the pull of history forced him to make his peace with Imam Reza.
سلام علیکم.
Ma'mun's political gesture was to pretend to offer the leadership to Imam Reza. The Imam's response was short and clear. If leadership was your right and Allah chose it for you, you do not have the right to offer it to another. And if it wasn't your right, then you do not have the authority to offer me that which is not yours. Eventually, Ma'mun, the Caliph of Marv, forcefully exiled Imam Reza from Medina to Khorasan, an area in the northeast of Iran.
The Imam was beyond the reach of Ma'mun, and the Caliph knew well that it would cause problems for the government. So, with a clever trick, he invited the Imam to Marv. After all, the Imam knew Ma'mun's hidden agenda, so he rejected his invitation. Once more, Ma'mun invited the Imam. This time, Ma'mun's envoys forced the Imam to embark on a journey to Marv, all against his will. The Imam certainly knew that it was his last journey, and he wouldn't come back to his homeland.
Like his honorable ancestors, Imam Reza enjoyed a high-level scientific position. Following Ma'mun's political ambitions, the Abbasid Caliph at the time called in scholars from different religions to debate with the Imam, hoping that he would at least once fail to answer the questions.
بگویید، بپرسید، ما منتظریم. من چگونه با کسی محاجه کنم که بر من از کتابی دلیل می آورد که من اون را منکرم؟ بس پیامبری می گوید که من به او نگرویدم.
ای بزرگ نصرانی، من اگر دلیل و حجت از انجیل بیاورم تو را کفایت می کند؟
آیا من می توانم انجیل را منکر شوم؟
پس لطفی کن و صبور باش تا به وقتش با هم سخن بگوییم و دلیل و منطق یکدیگر را بشنویم. من بپرسم یا شما سوال میکنید؟
من سوال میکنم. چگونه نبوت محمد را اثبات میکنید؟
Despite Ma'mun's machinations, the outcome of the debates only added to the greatness of Imam Reza and elevated Shia Islam to a whole new level scientifically.
More than 20,000 questions were asked from Imam Reza in those debates. It goes without saying that all those debates were conducted under the watchful eyes of Abbasid agents. There was not even one question that the Imam couldn't answer. It must be noted that the questions were asked in different languages, and Imam Reza answered them in the language they were asked. This is a reason that the Imam, as one of the Prophet's successors, was appointed by God. There is not one single session reported in which the Imam's argument was not convincing. All those people who participated in the debates found the Imam's arguments cogent. From those who asked the Imam to Ma'mun himself, who was the arbiter of the debates, to his men, who were mainly the Imam's enemies.
Imam Reza's trip to Khorasan was the last one of his life. It was in Khorasan where Ma'mun, the Abbasid Caliph, murdered him. His tomb drew hundreds of thousands of Shia pilgrims to Khorasan, and very soon the area was transformed into a flourishing city called MESHAD, or the place of martyrdom. The city is now the most sacred site, attracting millions of Iranians and others from around the world who go there every year to pay their respects. And that has changed Iran forever.
More than 27 million pilgrims every year visit the holy shrine of Imam Reza alayhi salam. Out of this, more than 2 million are foreigners, and from this about 4,000 are non-Muslims. They are from Europe, America, and even from South Asia. From all over the world, almost, we have the pilgrims who come for visiting the shrine.
This sacred site has been the center of attention for many centuries, and that hasn't been without problems. In 993 AD, the holy shrine was ruined by Sabuktakin, a Ghaznavid king. The Mongol invasion, led by Genghis Khan, wreaked havoc with the holy shrine once again. Since that time, the shrine has been rebuilt and all its surrounding buildings expanded.
The greatest expansion of the shrine happened during the Timurid era. Maybe that's because MESHAD was the center of Timurid dynasty, which resulted in the expansion of the city and consequently the shrine. During the Safavid era, again for a special circumstance of the time, the shrine was rebuilt and decorated, even better than before. Many art branches manifested themselves here in the shrine. The same was true in the Qajar dynasty. To put in a nutshell, the expansion has been done over time to accommodate the growing number of the pilgrims.
Millions of pilgrims have visited this site for hundreds of years, and their generous donations have helped turn the small shrine into a magnificent structure that now spans about 1 million square meters. The shrine that entombs Imam Reza's grave is the largest mosque in the world by dimension and the second largest in capacity. The complex also includes Goharshad Mosque, a museum, a library, the REZA University of Islamic Sciences, dining halls, vast prayer halls, and many other buildings. It is a tourist hub in Iran. The works of Persian art have their roots joined with Imam Reza's devotion to peace and harmony, and that relationship has prompted the artists who designed the place to make it most beautiful as well as religious.
The architecture of a religious buildings follows the principle of unity in the diversity. It's a principle in architecture according to which everything must be at service of one single being. The aim is to create a sense of oneness. Even early architects of this construction were fully aware of this principle. They wanted the pilgrims feel in front of a superior being. Despite all the complexities in design, form and color, and then invoke Imam Reza to help them get connected to him. So, all these complex designs have been made to create an atmosphere in which we feel ourselves in front of the Creator. And I think that architects have been successful in this regard. A religious architecture has managed to create such a unique atmosphere in this place through adjusting the heights, proportions, sizes, dimensions, and forms.
The Holy Grave is located under an amazing golden dome. The mirror work in the Holy Burial Chamber under the dome is one of the finest in the world. The Holy Grave itself is inside a zari, or a silver grill, which is also one of the finest examples of Iranian Islamic art. In the year 2000, engineer Mehdi Azizian was chosen to organize the construction, expansion, and replacement of the old zari. As a servant of Imam Reza, he considers that opportunity his greatest honor.
It was a difficult job to prevent the pilgrims from coming into the shrine. A few minutes ago, I said that the shrine's gates have never been closed. But actually, it happened once, and the doors were closed for 55 days to change the zari. Though every side of the zari was over 1.5 tons in weight, we never used regular transportation vehicles. We had to use things suitable enough to pass through different doors of different heights. It was a taxing job, and for me, it was marvelous to see that the project was completed on time and within a short period of time.
The wonderful zari was made by 10 master Iranian craftsmen under the supervision of the internationally celebrated artist master Farshchian. He was never paid for this. In Shia Islam, it's an honor to serve and invest in religious places of pilgrimage with no expectation of a return. It is called waqf. Waqf in Arabic means restriction, because it says that all properties belong to God. It is one of the greatest economic practices recommended by Islam. It is a long-term investment for the whole community with endless benefits. Waqf, or endowment, is charitable work widely used throughout Islamic history to build up communities. It usually benefits the community as a whole by offering a service that is useful to society.
وقف یک سنت دینی است. به این معنا که شخصی بخشی از دارایی
is a religious tradition in which a person donates part of his or her property for religious or charitable purposes. A person may build a school for children to study in, or a hospital for the poor to be treated in. These are two examples of waqf. In fact, one meaning of waqf is to donate part of all your property for the public interest. It must be noted that here property is used in its broad meaning. It doesn't mean just money. It can be knowledge, time, and the like. For example, there are some people who devote their time for a few days a month to serve in the holy shrine of Imam Reza.
Waqf, in today's sense, has turned into life-serving missions. Most people who made this fascinating structure as magnificent as it is today worked for free, like doctors, engineers, lawyers, ministers, as well as ordinary workers who devote their time and energy on the upkeep of the Imam's mausoleum and its premises. Dr. Sarafaz is a doorman. He spends his time guiding the pilgrims trying to find their way around in the building.
I believe from that place, by serving Imam, by staying there, by making worship to Imam, and asking and introducing Imam to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, and asking him, because of Imam, give me this and give me that.
من دیگه میرم حرم به امید خدا ان شاءالله تا دیگه بعد از ظهر ان شاءالله به امید خدا با خدمتتون میرسیم.
In the Shia context, Imams are community leaders. Here, people believe they were chosen by God to be perfect examples for the faithful and to lead humanity in all aspects of life. They also believe Imams are free from committing any sin. This is Mr. Shikuhi. He is one of the oldest servants of Imam Reza. In the past 68 years, he has played a special traditional drum-like instrument twice a day in Nagar Khane, a rooftop balcony overlooking the whole shrine. A loud reminder for the people who may miss the time to pray.
Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. به نام خدا بنده احمد اقوام شکوهی هستم. متولد 1305. 68 ساله صبح عصر همه روزه، جمعه شنبه همه روزه من حاضرم برای نوارخونه امام رضا. روز 2 مرتبه صبح و عصر هر روزه من میام. نه جمعه دارم نه شنبه دارم، غیر از ایام اعضا. این شهر مشهد سابق کوچیک بوده. تمام شهر مشهد صدای مردم 20 دقیقه به طلوع آفتاب که شروع میشه میزدن، بچه هاشو بیدار میکردن پاشن نماز دار بخونن که نماز قضا نشه. وقتی تمام میشه نماز قضا میشه. اینا ردیف وامیستن. یک کرنا به نام سرنواجیه، 7 دیگهش ردیف وامیستن 8. بعدا اون کرنا رو بلند میکنه، رو به گنبد مطهر سلام میده، میگه سلطان دنیا و اقبالی موسی رضا. باقیه همه جواب میدن میگن امام رضا. مجدد رو باید میگن، اینا میگن امام رضا، باز اینا میگن قریب رضا. مولا مولا رضا جان رضا جان رضا جان، یا امام غریب امام رضا، رضا جان رضا جان رضا جان. دوران امام رضا میگه ای داد رسی بیچارگان، باز اون میگه ای داد رسی درمان کن، فریاد رس فریاد رس. وقتی کنار میگم یا فتا یا فتا.
Professor Sarfraz has studied chemistry at Birmingham University in Britain. He is a former MP representing MESHAD constituency in Iran's parliament and is now a leading lecturer and researcher at the University of MESHAD. He puts in a 12-hour shift every 8 days to serve pilgrims in the shrine.
Sometimes I'm so busy in university and with my working and my class, but I never left the harem, so I prefer to go there first and then my class. I never left these things because it's very important for me to go in there and giving the service. So because this has been really in our family, my grandfather, my father, so now me. So every 80 days I go there for 12 hours, 13 hours, 14 hours for working there.
خب خیلی خوش اومدین، تشریف آوردین منزل ما. به حال شما یه موقع اومدین که ما حالا تنها موندیم با حاج خانم، بچه‌ها هم همه خدا رو شکر که به حال برای کار علمی و برای آیندهشون رفتن خارج کشور. پسر بزرگم که الان دکتراش تموم شد و فعلا توی کار پژوهشی خیلی مهمی در دانشگاه نیویورک مشغوله، به عنوان استاد اونجا هستش. پسر بعدیمون که اینجا فیزیک میخون، حالا دکتراشو داره توی آمریکا میگذرونه با همسرشون که ایشون هم در حقیقت رشته کامپیوتر میخونن. دختر منم که خب ایران پزشکیش تموم شد و طرحشو گذرونده، حالا شوهرشون بورسیه دانشگاه هست و اینها، دانشگاه آزاد. ایشون رفته به دانشگاه در آلمان، اونجا پیش شوهرش هست 1 سالی ان شاء الله. خود خانمم چون به حال ایشون هم مدرس دانشگاه هستن، دانشگاه فردوسی و آزاد درس میدن، همیشون چندین ساله که با حرم همکاری میکنن. تو بخش مشاوره حرم ایشون جزو مشاورین خانواده حرم هستن که هفته چند روز اونجا میرن خدمت میکنن، مردم میان، زوارا میان، ازشون راجع به مسائل اجتماعی خانوادگی مشورت میگیرن.
There are over 30,000 servants like Dr. Sarfraz and his wife. One of the many highly educated people who serve in the shrine of Imam Reza is Dr. Dad Mehr. He has worked here as a volunteer for about 20 years. He calls it a lifetime opportunity, a small step towards the evolution of man. He believes people are mesmerized by the peace and assurance that the late Imam Reza has to offer.
ای انسان غافل، ببین اینا به کجا رسیدن، راه بازه، تو هم میتونی برسی به وسیله ای بزرگوارا. خودتو سعی کن شبیه اینا بکنی. در نتیجه فرهنگ اینجوری زنده است. انسان دوست داره به زائر خدمت کنه. میگه زائر امام رضاست، یعنی وصل به اون مغناطیس. به زائر خدمت کنی، به امام رضا خدمت کردی. به امام رضا خدمت کردی، یعنی در مسیر 100% رضای خداوند قرار گرفتی.
ببینید شما وقتی کسی رو دوست دارید،
Look, when you like someone but are away from them, don't you smell their clothes? If there is a perfume left from them, don't you smell it? If you have a picture of them, don't you look at it? The reason is, since you like your beloved, you cherish everything that reminds you of them. So, if we touch the zarih with our hands, we don't like it in itself. If we kiss a portal of the shrine, we don't like it in itself. These objects have great sentimental value for us, just because they are associated with the Imam in one way or another.
احساسم اینه که هیچ وقت برام عادت نشده. هر روز که میرم فکر میکنم روز اولم دارم زیارت میکنم. با این ادب زیارت کردم آقا. و کسی که اولین بار باشه چطور گریه میکنه، میگه که خوشحال میشه روز اولشه، اصلا ندیده آقا رو. هر دفعه که برم همین احساس رو دارم و از خدا خواستم امام رضا عنایتی کنه این احساس همینجوری تازه باقی بمونه، عادی نشه.
Serving the people who seem to need it the most, providing calm and comfort to those who want to open their hearts to communicate. They ask for God's support, for His forgiveness. They ask the Imam to wish them well when they make big decisions in life.
That one is, you know, we have academy in United States, Academy of Otolaryngology and head and neck surgery and facial plastic surgery. I am one of the international fellows from American Academy of Otolaryngology head and neck surgery in US.
One spectacle at the Imam's shrine is when people are invited to eat after the prayers. Eating a full meal prepared with care and from the finest quality ingredients. It's not all about the taste. It's the spirit surrounding the food. The visitors believe if they eat this food, it'll make them immune to illness and bring them prosperity.
You may have noticed that a huge number of pilgrims come to the shrine's dining hall with great enthusiasm. To them, the food served here is not an ordinary food. There are pilgrims from abroad who like to take some salt from here, though they can find it everywhere else outside the shrine. You can have the best foods in many restaurants outside here. What makes the food served here different is the spiritual attitude the pilgrims have to them. That's why the pilgrims eat some of the food here and take out the rest. There are many pilgrims coming from distant countries, those who come from European countries or Iranian pilgrims who live abroad. They come to have the meals served here. They even send them abroad by air for their relatives and friends.
This huge task of providing services requires a massive force. People don't get lost here. If they are old and infirm, there's always a helping hand. The team that manages all this is called Astan Quds Razavi, an autonomous charitable foundation. With 400 years of recorded history, the longest-lasting organization since the martyrdom of Imam Reza about 1,200 years ago. The institution's main resource is endowments, It is a major economic player in the Middle East. Since the 1979 Islamic Revolution in Iran, this foundation has turned the Imam Reza Shrine into one of the greatest educational institutions in the region. The Imam Reza complex now houses a library, museums, schools and universities, hospitals and factories, all administered by Astan Quds.
Astan Quds Razavi is a very big foundation. It has 20,000 personnel in MESHAD. There are also hundreds of thousands of people who work indirectly for the Astan Quds. That's why there are around 30,000 honorary personnel in the holy shrine of Imam Reza, from physicians, engineers, businessmen, students, farmers, and so forth. They work here as servants, doormen, guards, and the like.
There are nearly 100 companies, out of which about 51 are stock companies. The shares begin from 2% to 50%. There are more than 45 companies that the Astan Quds has got 100% of the shares. The companies the Astan Quds owns invest in farming, constructing, mining and producing food and industrial products.
Many pilgrims who come to MESHAD or those who have heard the name of Astan Quds Razavi may think that the foundation has only to do with the holy shrine, but it has a very big library, which is unequaled in the Islamic world. There are many precious manuscripts as great treasures of our cultural heritage in the library. The oldest manuscript is perhaps a copy of the Holy Quran by Ibn Simjur, dating back to the early 9th century, that is to say, more than 1,000 years ago.
The library of Astan Quds is considered as one of the most important treasures of the recorded knowledge of Iran and the Islamic world. The library holds over 1.1 million books. It is an international center for Islamic research with numerous manuscripts and rare works of antiquity of Islamic history.
This is the book bank of the lithographical section of the books. And in this section we have 46,000 lithography books, and the oldest books available in this section is the Quran, which belongs to the 190 years ago. It comes exactly on 1,250 years of the lunar calendar. So this is the collection of the only lithography books with this number. But beside that we have the book bank of the manuscripts, which having more than nearly 90,000, and the exact number goes to 87,000 manuscripts. One of the most important section of these manuscripts they are very unique. Sometimes the only copy we keep in the book bank. And the most important section of them goes to the Qurans written by the Imams. The first starts from the Imam Ali alayhi salam, then goes to Imam Hassan Mushtaba, the writings of Imam Hussein alayhi salam, then goes to Imam Zain al-Abidin, then comes up to Imam Reza alayhi salam, which we have the original handwritings and the Quran written by the sacred hands. Then goes to the Iranian scientists like Avicenna, then comes Abul Futuh Razi, then comes Biruni's books, then great and outstanding scholars, religious scholars like Sheikh Bahai, Sheikh Hurr Amli's writings. And another distinguished feature of this book bank is it is not only rich in the Islamic manuscripts and the written books. We have so many books on many subjects like geometry, mathematics, then herbal medicine. Herbal medicine, we have the books like Zakhire Kharazm Shahian, 7 volumes. and all kinds of the properties of the herbs and the medicines and the symptoms of the diseases are collected in that book. The book is having nearly 190 years, and what we see in this page is how the just binding section they have preserved it, and these are the newly preserved and mended. And the original pages, this book is a Quran. Of course, the name of the author is here, Muhammad Hussein al-Isfahani, and it is published in Tabriz, and 1250 years lunar calendar. This is the date of publication is 1254 according to the number of the page is here. The language is Arabic, of course. The dimension of the pages, of course, here. And the calligraphy, as you know, in our Iranian calligraphy is called Naskh, the name of calligraphy, and the time of the type of calligraphy.
بخشی که در خدمتتون هستیم تالار کتاب‌های خارجی کتابخانه مرکزی آستان قدس رضوی مشهد هست. در این بخش ما بالغ بر 102,000 جلد کتاب داریم به 91 زبان و عرض کنم خدمتتون که به 73 زبان هم قرآن داریم که موجود هست. بعد قدیمی ترین کتابی که در این کتابخانه موجود است به زبان لاتین و خط لاتین است که ملاحظه می‌فرمایید تاریخش 1473 میلادی است که در اوایل اختراع صنعت چاپ است. این کتاب دو جلدی است که قاموس یا واژه‌نامه کتاب مقدس هست که اینی که ما موجود داریم جلد 2 هست از قاموس کتاب مقدس به خط لاتین. در این کتابخانه ما حدود 2000 جلد کتاب‌های نفیس و قدیمی داریم که تاریخش قبل از 1900 میلادی هست و یکی از مهمترین منابع و مجموعه‌های کتابخانه‌ای به زبان لاتین و زبان‌های غیر از فارسی و عربی رو ما در این مجموعه داریم. بعد مجموعه آثار ادبی هست، تاریخی هست که به زبان‌های مختلف اینها اکثراً توسط اشخاص و شخصیت‌های معروفی که کتاب جمع آوری می‌کردن و اینها علاقمند به کتاب بودن اهدا شده به کتابخانه آستان قدس.
در همین حرم مطهر یکی
One of the cultural institutions in the holy shrine is open around the clock, and every year hundreds of orators and researchers deliver their speeches in the shrine, which has expanded very much in recent years. It's worth mentioning that the holy shrine of Imam Reza is the only religious place around the world in which different Islamic arts like mirror work, tile work, stucco work, carving, and the like have been used.
در اماکن مذهبی دنیا انواع هنرهای مختلف، هنرهای اسلامی در اونجا به کار برده شده حرم حضرت رضاست.
The Treasury's Office of Astana Quds comprises of the Central Museum with 12 different specialized museums packed with endowments. At this place, the best of Islamic art and architecture can be seen in the unique and significant monuments where Islamic art and faith are embedded. There are also gifts and endowments that are too valuable to be placed on walls or kept in libraries.
سالنی هستش که معمولاً معروف هست به سالن درهای طلا و نقره، یکی از سالن‌های
Here is a hall known as the Hall of Golden and Silver Doors. In fact, this is one of the halls in the Museum of the Shrine. As you know, every building has a door. As an entry to a building, a door can have symbolic significance as well. We have to get permission whenever we want to enter a place, especially if that place is a sacred one. In the beginning, the shrine has just one door in front of the building. On the other side of the shrine, there were only windows, and the pilgrims used to see the zari through them. It was just during the Safavid era that another door was built on the other side of the shrine. This was the first step to expand the shrine. The door was gilded and decorated with jewelry. At the moment, only a few pieces of the jewelry have been left on the door. Most of them got lost during periods of political turbulence. Then during the Qajar era, the door was gilded again, and many eulogic poems about Imam Reza were etched on it. This collection has a very interesting story. 28 parts of this ancient manuscript of the Holy Quran were preserved in the Aslan Quds library. However, 2 parts of it were missing. The head of the library in Aslan Quds realized the 2 missing parts were in a library in Tehran. To cut the long story short, they found that a construction worker had found pages of the 2 parts within the layers of the dome and sold them to an antique dealer in MESHAD, who in turn sold them to another antique dealer in Tehran. There, a man bought them and donated them to a library.
Iranian-American Amir Joshanpoush is a frequent visitor to the Holy Shrine. He is a professor at the American World University in North California. His connection with the Imam is a unique one.
ببینید امام رضا تو زندگی ما جزو از خانواده ما شده. طوری که اسم امام رضا رو بچه هامون میذاریم، به وجودش اعتقاد داریم و اون چرا که کسی باور نمیکنه ازمون به اسم امام رضا قسم میخوره.
Despite being a regular visitor, this is his first time to see some of the new buildings. He is particularly fascinated by the library.
Today I have this opportunity and this chance to see this library, and I was amazed. Believe me, I was amazed how many departments they have, how they take care of the books, how they transfer the books, how the people transfer book from handwriting to the CDs. I mean, you know, it can be 100 years later, people can use it. I see everything I have to see. It looks like a dream coming true. Now I have to tell my students all over the world what I have because I see it with my eyes. And this is something I don't think so. Everybody can have this chance. And I'm thankful for Imam Reza because I'm very sure he invited me because I believe him since I was 7 years old. And always, when I want help from him, I'm in another country alone, like he's in that land. I say, yeah, Imam Reza, I got it. Help me. And believe me, when I put in my step in the airplane, I say, I'm coming to see you, nobody else. And I'm here, and I'm always can hold on to his zari. Never come here and a crowd or something scared me. Looks like somebody opened the door. My family know it. Every time I say, do you grab it? I say, yes, I did. Did this because nobody in my way. Look, I'm not looking to the crowd. I'm looking for Zadi. And I'm going and I grab it and hold it for a few minutes. Whatever I want to tell him, and I'm coming.
Imam Reza, peace be upon him, once said, "Everyone's friend is his reason. His enemy is his ignorance. Some signs of understanding are clemency, knowledge, and silence. Silence is one of the doors to wisdom. It brings about love and is evidence for all good." Preparations are being made to celebrate the Imam's birthday. Since his martyrdom hundreds of years ago, people have celebrated his birthday every year. Everyone's relationship with the Imam is different. Some imagine him as their father, brother, or guardian. To others, he is an absolute guide, their pride and joy. The love of Imam Reza is manifested in every single tile on these walls, bringing a special personal impression full of beauty and affection.